I was 12 or 13 when I started sculpting, so I've been doing this for over 10 years now, which is nearly half of my life. I can't commit to anything, so it's honestly astounding. And every once in a while, I like to remake my oldest pieces in my current style with all the skills I've learned over the years, just so I can flex on my middle school self. So this is an ice cream sundae. If I'm not mistaken, this is the second thing I ever made out of polymer clay, and I'm pretty sure I followed a YouTube tutorial to make this, so I'll see if I can find the exact one. Also, I'm pretty sure that this cherry used to have a stem, which is no longer with us. I'm gonna start by making the cup, and I'm gonna keep all the colors the same. So I do want to make this blue, but I am gonna start with white because normally ice cream and like froyo cups are white and the color is just like on the outside. So that's what I'm gonna try to do with this. I avoid using white clay as much as I can because it is, in my opinion, the scariest of all colors to use. It gets dirty so quickly. I already see a piece of dust in it, and I spent so long when I was conditioning this avoiding dust and picking out pieces that were getting in. To get the cup to keep its shape, I kind of want to try forming it around this tiny little clay cutter. Satisfying. I can't believe how weak I am. This is actually concerning. Oh, whoa, I got it. That hurts. Oh my god, is it lopsided? This is going surprisingly bad so far, and I blame it on the white clay. Nothing ever goes right when I use white clay. I can't explain it. It's a curse. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's literally black glitter all over my hands because I guess it was all over that liquid clay bottle. Do you see what I'm talking about? This doesn't ever happen. It doesn't happen unless I use white clay. Oh my, it is like fully, do y'all see that? Okay, anyway, I'm just gonna bake this and I'll try to fix it later. This was so much faster and easier to make, and I honestly think it looks better too. No one makes my life harder than I do. I hate myself right now. I'm gonna bake this along with that one since I already made them both, and then I guess I'll decide which one I use, but I can tell you right now it's gonna be this. I'm using a much lighter color of brown than I used the first time because I feel like this is way more like actual chocolate ice cream. I'm basically gonna slightly flatten the clay and like drag it out with my fingers so it gets all these little ripples in it. And then I'm going to round it into a ball. Don't worry, this knife isn't that sharp. I'm not gonna cut myself. Yes, I've already tried to put this on here. I'm not gonna sit here and try to cover that up. It just didn't go well the first time, so I'm redoing it now. Now I'm gonna make the frosting, and I'm going to use a real icing tip to do this. So I'm just gonna take my clay and I'm going to put it inside the icing tip and push it out with, ow, I just stabbed myself. The back of one of my tools. There's dust in it. Just gonna squish this down a little bit with a ball tool so I can make space for the cherry to go in later. I don't love the way this looks, so I'm just using a small ball tool to like twist it, if that makes sense, because it was like going straight up. Just make them look a little bit diagonal, like whipped cream actually looks when you like spray it out of a can. Spray the term. I have some red translucent clay that I've mixed at some point earlier, so I'm gonna use this to make the cherry. I don't know what this is gonna look like after baking, so I'm not certain that this is a good color because I have all these colors that I've used at some point that I've mixed, and I keep the extras. So I have all these bags of these colors that I don't actually know what they look like when baked. This bakes pink. I'm gonna be really disappointed. I think it's gonna be okay. I think I say that to myself a lot, don't I? I'm gonna make a little indent for the cherry, but I don't think I'm gonna add a stem just because I feel like it's gonna break off anyway. Also, I put it in my retainer and it's giving me a little bit of a lisp. I think I need to take it out. I'm gonna make the chocolate syrup now, and I didn't have any liquid clay at the time. By the way, I didn't take out my retainer. I still sound like this, please forgive me. At the time that I made the first one, I didn't have any liquid clay and I just skipped making a topping altogether, so it wasn't really a sundae, but I'm gonna do that this time. I assume because of the liquid clay that obviously this will get darker after it's baked, and I really hope it does because this color is too similar. I can't lie, my arm is in the most uncomfortable position right now, and I'm shaking. I'm shaking. I'm really happy that that went on well. It looks good. It almost looks too good, and I'm surprised that nothing went wrong. And that scares me because I feel like something is then gonna go really wrong. But this is good to go in the oven now. I'm waiting for something bad to happen. Okay, this thing just came out of the oven, and that cherry definitely is not as red as I need it to be. But I think I'm just gonna live with it because I don't want to like paint it or anything like that. Also, I feel like this cup is a little too tall, so I'm just gonna use some sandpaper to make it shorter. This is another piece that I made following a YouTube tutorial. Actually, interestingly enough, this was literally, I don't know if anyone remembers this. Conan Gray, yes, the singer, he used to have a polymer clay channel that I literally was subscribed to back in like 2013. I think it was called like CG Kawaii Crafter, if I'm not mistaken. And this was made following one of his tutorials. I don't know if anyone remembers that or even knows. Sometimes I feel like it was a fever dream because I feel like I'm the only one that remembers that. But yeah, so it's meant to be a chocolate Swiss roll, like the cake. Also, this is the better side of it because that's what it looks like on the other side. I'm gonna start with the cake portion of the Swiss roll. And to make this, I'm kind of just gonna form the shape of that like semicircle log situation. Okay, now I'm gonna draw out the shape for where I want the icing to go. And I'm just gonna create an indent in this shape. Now I'm gonna do my best to recreate this same shape on the back. Alright, I feel like these look pretty similar. I'm gonna add texture to each of the sides, ignoring the divoted, is that a term? Isn't that something in like the stock market or something? I'm gonna add texture to each of the sides, ignoring this little divot situation in the center. Now I just gotta carefully texture the other side without messing this one up. Pretty good. Still think this side is smaller. I kind of want to fix it, but I also am scared of that because I could make it worse. I'll just leave it. Gonna make the little bit of whipped cream situation that's at the top. I'm mixing together some white clay with liquid clay to make the icing. I'm gonna really carefully try to put the icing into this swirly crevice that I've created without getting the icing all over the cake. Oh my god, I can't stop shaking. Dun, 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 dun. Da, 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 da. Oh my god. Okay, I got this side done. This was really difficult to do because the camera is so far away from my like actual body. So my arms are like stretched out and I can't really see what I'm doing. I'm just gonna do the other side now. And again, I'm gonna do this off camera because otherwise I feel like I'm gonna mess it up really badly. I'm gonna make a chocolate bar now, and these are some of the easiest things to make, honestly. I'm just gonna flatten some clay. A tray of cookies. I don't think this piece looks that bad, but I honestly think this silver clay is carrying the whole piece. I imagine I was probably really excited at the time that I was able to make it this small as well, even though it is quite simple. I'm gonna start by making the tray, and unfortunately I think that white clay will be the best clay to do this with, even though it is my arch nemesis. On the bright side, I plan on painting this so I don't have to worry about the dust too much, which is really nice because I don't think I can take another round of that. I'm just gonna place this all the way around this thin rectangle I cut out. If it'll stay in place, please. Alrighty, so I don't know if you guys can see it, but that is the tray. So I'm just gonna go ahead and bake this. I've sectioned out a bunch of little dough-colored balls for the cookies, and I also have some tiny chocolate chunks that I've previously made at some point. You just make these by flattening some clay and pre-baking it and then chopping it up. So I'm just gonna mix some of the chocolate chunks into each of these little balls. I better not run out of chocolate. I don't want to make any more. I also made these a long time ago. I don't even remember making these. Texture hack for lazy people like me. To make the cookies look like they've been baked, I'm just gonna brush some orangey brown pastels onto the outer edges of the cookies. I'm adding the smallest bit of brown chalk pastels all the way on the outer edge, like all the way near the bottom, just a little bit, to make the edges look a little extra crispy. And I'm pinching my paintbrush so that I don't have to get a smaller one. I'm doing all this so that I don't have to clean 2 paintbrushes. This is a bit much, but it's working. So cute, oh my god. Guys, look how cute they look. Oh no. To paint the tray, I'm gonna make a mix of like this silvery white color that I have with a little bit of black so that I can get a color that is sort of silver but not super. Oh my god, I think this paint's dry. Gross. I can't really tell if this is a good color or not, but I don't want the paint to dry up, so I'm just gonna use it anyway. This is weird to paint on. I can't tell if the clay or the paint is the problem, but it feels super weird. Okay, so I kind of just had to work as fast as I possibly could without worrying about filming there for a second because the paint was drying so insanely fast. I thought it would be a good idea to mix two colors. That way I could, I don't know, I kind of thought I could get it to look a better silver color. This thing is still drying. I think it might be dry though because it didn't make a mess right there. My mind just went blank. So initially the reason I baked these separately was because I wanted to be able to paint this and not get the paint on the cookies. That makes sense, I think. Actually, maybe it doesn't. I'm gonna use some liquid clay to stick the cookies onto the tray because this was, don't look at that side. Because this was painted with acrylic paint and it's water-based. I can put it in the oven again, so it should be fine. I am tired. This is another one of the pieces that I made in my, I believe, first year of sculpting, but it was one of my later, more advanced pieces of that year. I don't even remember how I made this flame. I think it might be made out of paint, or maybe it is clay. I'm not sure. All I know is that, watch this. I don't know how I've managed to not break it in the last 10 years. I think 11 actually. Also, I love that I just skipped out on making the actual cupcake part and just covered the whole thing in icing to make it easier. I'm gonna cheat and use a cupcake mold, although I don't really think it's cheating because I used a cupcake mold the first time anyway. It just wasn't a very good one. I didn't have silicone at the time because I was like 13, so I made it out of polymer clay and it was like a hard mold, and I think I used like a toothpaste cap to get the shape. It was really difficult to use, and so the shape never came out right, but believe it or not, that was a mold, so I really don't think this is cheating. This time I'm not gonna cover the whole thing in frosting, I'm actually gonna try. And I imagine this being a vanilla cupcake, so I'm gonna flatten some dough colored clay a little bit to make the cupcake top. Now I'm gonna center it the best I can. And I see dust on the side. Can't escape this nightmare. I'm trying to keep this as flat as possible so that it will be easier to add the frosting later on. I'm just gonna add a little bit of texture to the outside of the cake. Now I'm just gonna brush on some pastels to make the vanilla cupcake look a little goldeny on the outside so that it looks like it's been in the oven. Okay, I don't want to go overboard with the shading, and I fear I may have already done that, so I'm just gonna stop. Now I'm just gonna carefully pop the cupcake out of the mold. Pray I don't mess it up, please. Maybe white clay isn't the problem, maybe I'm the problem, because that's a lot of dust. Just gonna twist this very carefully. It feels sticky, so I'm worried about messing it up. I'm gonna make a cute little candle to go on top now, and I've done this previously for that cake slice I made, and I think that came out pretty good, so I'm basically gonna do the exact same thing that I did then. So I have some pink clay here and some white, and I'm just gonna twist them together. I can't decide where to cut it. Let's do this. Is this way too big? I think it is. Okay, this piece is significantly too large and I'm well aware of that, but I kind of just want to bake it and then I can actually measure it out and cut it shorter after baking so that it fits better, and that just makes sense in my head, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go ahead and poke the candle into the middle of the frosting. Oh boy, it's bendy. It's very, very, very bendy. Gotta do this carefully. What would be a good length? Like this, perhaps? Is that a good length? What do you guys think? Shorter? Longer? I'm just gonna take this candle out now, and if it will come out, oh my god. Oh, whatever, I'll just fix those areas. There are like holes in it now, it's fine, I'll cover it with sprinkles. That's cute, I think. I can't stop noticing how yellow this cupcake is. I used to be so excited to make little sprinkles when I first started working with clay, but nowadays it's genuinely one of the most tedious things, and it's so unnecessary. It really is. They're cute, I know, but if I can help it, I will not make sprinkles. I hate them. I genuinely hate them. Especially the rainbow colored ones, because so many different colors that you gotta roll out and make them as even as possible. Oh my god, I hate this. I literally hate this. I feel like I may have added way too many sprinkles. I feel like it kind of looks like an ice cream cone now, but I think that's okay. Sorry I got distracted, but to make the wick for the candle, I just coated some sewing thread with resin and I'm making sure it's hardened before I move on. Just gonna slice off a little piece, like that. And I'm just gonna use a little bit more UV resin to attach it to the candle. I know what some of you may be thinking. Crafter, why aren't you making a flame for the candle? Why does it just look burnt? I have tried making a candle with a flame fairly recently, and it came out looking insanely goofy. And believe it or not, that was my best attempt. So I think it looks a lot better without a flame. Okay, thanks for being here. Goodbye.